I'm the CEO of RJ Reliance. In this series, I'm talking with business owners, operators, HCM leaders, employees, partners, and industry experts about how work is changing. We'll look at people, systems, payroll, HR, time, integrations, operations, and yes, AI, but always from a practical business perspective. The goal is simple: understand what companies should be thinking about as they modernize how work gets done. Today, I'm talking with someone who works close to the technical side of HCM, integrations, data movement, system connections, and the practical work required to make payroll, HR, time talk to one another. The goal is to understand what business leaders often miss, where integrations create real value, and how artificial intelligence fits into the bigger picture of clean data, strong processes, and connected systems. So with me today is Aldus Reyes. So Aldus, really nice to be speaking with you. Can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background before we dive right in?
Right. So I'm Aldus Reyes, and then my role is a Boomi developer. I mostly work integrating each HCM platforms. For example, migrating their employee data, payroll, and any keeping records for a company into their target system.
Okay, excellent. So of course, with you dealing with integrations, what would you say to a non-technical person who doesn't really understand the technical details? Why do integrations matter so much?
From my perspective, the integration means it removes the repetitive work that they're doing. So instead of taking a lot of time performing this kind of process, so we have integration in place to have it automated. And then that saves them a lot of time and then reduce the human error, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me ask you, in terms of the human error aspect of it or the manual processes, what's bad about that for a company? I think the answer is obvious, but why would a company want to move off of doing things manually or using disconnected systems?
Because for manual processes, I believe there may be times that, as we all know, a program or any AI can quickly provide much faster response than an average person can do. That's why they rely on an automated process rather than a manual process. That's
Yeah.
my take on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about really speed, if you will, right? So speed and ultimately the ability for a company to grow and scale. Because if there's a lot of manual work that they're doing today, if they were to increase in size as a business, then all they're carrying over is more and more manual labor that they would have to do. Thinking about common challenges that companies deal with in terms of integrations, where do integration projects tend to get harder than people expect in your experience as a developer?
It gets harder mostly on the communication side or ownership of the data,
Ah,
because most of the time, for example, data are being stored not on a specific, let's say, department. So the data consists, or every department consists or contains the data. So we need to connect those departments as one. That way we can build the integration smoothly, and then connecting them between those data, if there's connection between them as well, so that way we can properly build an integration that can transform the data into their new system efficiently.
yeah. All right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. In terms of data and readiness, what does clean or usable data mean from an integration developer's perspective? So as an example, like when you're looking to connect two different systems, what does clean data, or obviously an understanding of the appropriate keys or foreign keys that are being utilized between systems. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, clean data. We actually stumble upon a lot of, for example, duplicate records or data.
Mm.
So yeah, so from most of the time we encounter those kind of things, and that complicates the integration that is being built because we might have to ask which one of these duplicate records you wanted to maintain or to keep from the target system.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, just really understanding the type of data that's coming in, as you're mentioning, ensuring that where there's any sorts of duplicates or information that you're not going to need in the downstream system, that you're able to kind of care for that. So moving into one of the big topics for the audience listening to this is around AI and automation. So what are your thoughts when companies talk about artificial intelligence and automation? What do you think they need to understand about their systems first?
Me personally, I use AI when I'm working on a system that I barely know of.
Okay.
So I use AI for research, like in getting to know more about the system that I am dealing with and how I can use those information into what I'm building right now in terms of the integration. So I believe we can use AI for research and analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So let me ask you, in terms of AI, what do you follow personally? There's so much change that's happening. Where do you get your information typically to learn more about AI?
Usually from social media and then from other business partners and business leadership. So they promote AI as a tool to help us or with what we're currently doing. So it's not replacing the person, but rather it's a tool where
Mm-hmm.
it can provide help or assistance so we can improve our work and manage our time efficiently.
Yeah. And where do you think, if you had to look ahead over the next month or two, what changes do you foresee happening in AI that's going to help your job be that much easier or better, or make you faster, or the quality of what you're building that much better?
Yes, for me, I can see the presence of AI really helps a lot in terms of, especially if you have design logic or that you don't know how to translate into, so you can ask or you can use the AI for help, and it will give you an overview or step-by-step process of what you need to follow to build up what you currently think of. So that way AI can express it much clearer or a way for you to better understand it. That's the help of AI for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see that trend continuing to happen for sure in terms of the ability to help speed up the problem solving aspects of really looking at a solution, and with human guidance, basically moving projects and things quickly in the, being able to kind of sort through that logic. To do testing, are you currently doing any testing utilizing AI? Is that something that you would think about in the future otherwise?
Yes, I also do AI for testing, and then sometimes I also proofread its response
Oh,
since there might be some. I know the AI just pulls data out of whatever storage it gets its data from. Yes, so I proofread the AI response and view if it really matches the testing that I've done and the output on the expected output. So yeah.
okay. So kind of moving into advice for leaders or the non-technical folks typically, but if you were advising an HR leader before they start an HCM integration project, what would you tell them? What's going to make a project successful for you to be able to quickly and easily kind of move through and solve for their issue? What really would help you along those lines?
I believe having all of their departments getting involved in
Okay.
the or in collaboration. So that's the better term or way to say it. So I believe collaboration and communication will be the key to properly or to have success on the kind of project they wanted to build with.
Okay. So my last question for you, if you had to kind of sum up all that we've talked about in terms of the challenges that a company faces as they look to automate, what would you say is the number one thing out of everything we talked about that you would want to leave a prospective client or an existing client to make sure they're successful?
I believe they should keep the data that comes in into their system. They should maintain or keep their incoming data as clean as possible. That
Okay.
way, while we have error handling in place built in our system, we might also need our clients to also manage or to insert their records correctly and efficiently into their system.
Awesome. Well, listen, Aldous, it was really great speaking with you. Some fantastic advice for clients or leaders that are looking to implement and some insights into artificial intelligence and how you're utilizing it and how it's helping you. So thanks for your time. Really looking forward to more conversations on the topic in the future, but really appreciate you joining.
Thank you.